Hey guys, it's Becky and welcome back to my channel. A very Merry Christmas to all of you. As always, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out so much. Today we're going to be doing this Nutcracker Doll look, and I was totally inspired by one of my husband's hundreds of Nutcracker collectibles. First, I'm going to be starting off with my favorite Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Foundation in the shade Light Medium 9. Then I'm going to be using all of these Pro Paint by Graftobian. These are water activated paints, and I'm just going to be using the white and the brown to carve out some paint chips that I want my doll to look like it's kind of broken, worn, and old. I'm going to be going in with the red color to go ahead and fill in the top lip. That's in the shade Crimson Red. I'll try to tell you guys what the names of them are, but some of them are worn off, so I'm not sure. After that, I'll be picking up my white color and drawing in all of those teeth. The Nutcracker doesn't have many teeth, so I decided to go with just 3 on each side. Now I'm picking up the black water activated paint and I'm just drawing in that empty space between the teeth. It doesn't have to be very big because you kind of want the teeth close together because I don't have much chin space. Going back in with the white and drawing 6 more bottom teeth. And again with the red to draw in my bottom lip. I'm kind of curving the lips out a little bit further than the teeth. Then I'll be taking the black shade to shade in between each individual teeth and on the lines of the mouth. Now I'm going to be picking up my Benefit blush palette in the shade Hula, and I'm going to go ahead and contour my face and make it really rounded high cheekbones. Do that on both sides. It's okay if you go over the wooden cracks because either way they would be painted even if they're a little broken. Now picking up my Jaclyn Hill 1 palette in the shade Abyss, which is the darkest shade in the palette. I'm going to be contouring further my cheekbones on the outsides of my face. Then I'm going to be picking up this bright pink MAC blush. I believe it's called Pure Heat. And I'm going to really be rosing up my nose and cheeks. Be sure and get it on both sides. Even though the wood is cracked, it would still be painted. Now I'm going to be adding some shadow with the shade Pookie from the Jaclyn Hill 1 palette because the sides of the mouth are supposed to be detached, so you'll definitely need some shadow. Next, I'm going to be picking up the color Chip and I'm going to be darkening up the wood, just starting to add shadows. Definitely put all the shadows underneath each paint chip. You'll slowly start to see them form as you go. I'm definitely going to be darkening underneath my eyes just to recess it just a little bit. Now going back in with that Graftobian paint in white, brown, and black, I'm just going to be adding the wood grains all throughout the cracked pieces of my face. I'm not drawing straight lines, I'm trying to make them curved just to go with the way wood would naturally flow. Now going in with the black body paint, I definitely want to shade underneath each paint chip to give it some dimension. Make sure you try to shade on the same side of the paint chip, so whether you're going maybe on the left side and underneath. Then I'm going to be adding highlights to the top of each piece. Now I'm going to be taking the black eyeshadow in the shade Abyss and I'm going to be smoking out the dark recesses that I've already put in with the water activated paint. For my eyes, I'm going to try and keep them as closed as possible, and I'm going to take the white water activated paint and just draw over my natural mobile eyelid. This could possibly crack, but that's okay for the look that I'm going for now since I want my doll to look worn. But it does help if you take a blow dryer on cool setting. Now I'm going back in with the shade Chip, and I'm just shading around the eyes because the eye socket would cast a shadow over the natural eye. Making sure to shade underneath as well. Whenever you look at the Nutcracker, they kind of have a squared off nose. So I'm going to add some shadows with the same Chip eyeshadow from the Jaclyn Hill palette. Then going on with the color Abyss, which is the black shade. And I'm just going to be smudging out that line. I'm going to be drawing my detached jaw, which is just some lines coming down. I really won't see it after I add my beard, but it's an important part, so we don't want to skip that step. I'm further going in with some white cream paint and just trying to highlight the tops of the wood chips. Tapping it out as you go. And because paint just doesn't chip off super cleanly, I want to go ahead and add some chips into the paint chips, if that makes any sense. So I'm just taking the black water activated paint and I'm just putting a few little lines just to make sure it looks like it's actually been broken off over time. Now to get the eyes. It is so hard to do this, but it helps if you kind of squint your eyes as much as possible. I'm taking a light blue shade and I'm trying to draw over my natural iris because that will help it look as close as possible. But if you could tell by the beginning of this video, they didn't come out quite perfectly, so hopefully you'll have better luck. I've done this a few times and each time they come out a little wonky, so I guess practice makes perfect. I'm going in with a light blue shade and a dark blue shade, and I'm just going to continue to switch back and forth because I want to give the eye some dimension. Trying to keep the darker shades as far on the outer perimeter, I guess, of the iris as possible and a little bit lighter. Then of course I'm going to draw my pupils with some black water activated paint, and this is where things get a little wonky. And then make sure and go in with those highlights and try to put them in the same place on each eye. Now I'm taking the red shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I believe that's called Jazz, and I'm just deepening up the sides of the mouth and highlighting the center with the red water activated paint again. Now we can't forget about that big old thick mustache, so I just did a little swoopty, yes, that is the technical term, a swoopty mustache, and try to do it the same on each side, but just get it as close as possible. Remember, these are hand-painted dolls, so maybe a little imperfection is perfect. And after that, we're going to do the same thing with one eyebrow. The other eyebrow is chipped off, so I felt like we only needed one. Now to move on to the clothes. I made this really awesome hat, which you saw in the beginning of this video, out of a bucket, and because it was red, I decided to go with red clothes. Now I'm going to paint the whole chest red for my jacket, but I'm going to leave the shoulders because I'm going to put little gold fringy things on the shoulders. I don't really know what those are called. Caps, maybe? I have no idea. So this takes a few coats to get pretty opaque, which as you can still see my red tattoo through it, but it was fine for what it was. Then I wanted to give him a little bit of an undershirt, so I went ahead and grabbed my green water activated paint Now I'm taking this Mayron loose pigment and a mixing liquid from Mayron as well. And I'm just going to mix that up and make this really beautiful metallic, what did we say we were going to call these? I forget. I'm going to add some highlights to my mustache and my eyebrow while also taking the blow dryer and drying my jacket. I want to line the whole outfit with this gold trim because I think it just looks super cute and Christmassy. I did have to do a couple coats of this, but it was fine. It goes on really thick, so it didn't take too many. Now to add the fringe to the side. I'm taking the black eyeshadow in the shade Abyss from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just adding a little bit of dimension to my clothes. Then going back in with that hula color, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow. Later I'll go back in with some black from the Jaclyn Hill palette again. I'm pretty much only sticking with this palette, so I guess I don't have to keep saying it. Just to add a little bit more shadow off of the clothes to my skin. Now to add some shadow above the fringe. And to add some gold straps. I'm just going to add some shadow on each side of those stripes and down the center. I had these gold buttons left over from another Greed Demon look that I did. So I went ahead and put some eyelash glue and let it get a little tacky and put the buttons on. Then to kind of rat up this wig, because we want the guy to look old, there's that really cute hat I told you about. I think it turned out super great. I'm taking a little bit of an extra wig that I had, and I'm just going to cut some pieces off of it and glue on a giant little goat, I don't know, goatee. And I'm just going to cut that with scissors. Because I didn't think it was thick enough, the excess that I cut off, I'm actually going to glue behind the beard just to give it a little more depth. All I'm doing is taking some hair bonding glue that I got from the beauty supply store, and that completes our whole look. Remember, if you guys didn't already do it, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Let me know what you thought of this awesome Nutcracker look. I'm pretty proud of it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. And remember, Merry Christmas.